say, Lexi? What do you say?
Look in here.
Okay. Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up like a food blogger.
No money?
Go. Hey, you have to say it first.
What do you say?
Show us more?
Want more money?
So what do you do with the money inside? And what do you do with the money? Who do you give it to?
Daddy.
That's right.
What? So a couple weeks ago, did you hear that they banned food photography in some New York restaurants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I understand both sides of the argument because from the restaurant's perspective, especially if you're, a classier, fine dining kind of place, you don't want to have people with their cameras with the flash on and standing on their chairs to take pictures because it is distracting to the other diners and it does take away from that kind of fine dining atmosphere. At the same time, as a food blogger, like many of us are, I also understand that in effect what we're doing is we're giving them free advertising. When we are posting our pictures on Facebook, Instagram, or we're writing a restaurant review, we're giving them free advertising. We're telling people, here's the kind of things that you can expect when you come to this restaurant, here's what the food's going to look like, this is the kind of pricing you expect, this is the service I get. So we are providing a service to the online community and at the same time helping to market them for free. Because by and large, when we go out and we do a restaurant review, that's on our own dime, right? Like when we go out to eat, I don't get free food typically. Right? Like I go to Diner Vancouver, whatever, and I pay for my own meals, and I post as content on my blog, which makes money for me. It's not a lot of money, but it is work. It is business to me. So I don't think that the New York restaurants would ban photography if suddenly the New York Times decided if they wanted to come in and write a piece for them, or they wanted NBC News comes in and wants to shoot a piece about that restaurant. They wouldn't push them away. So
well, the counterpoint to that is that most of those fine dining restaurants, they don't necessarily need our citizen publicity at the same time, and also I understand that they're trying to ban certain types of food photography, and they're trying to ban the people that stand up on their chairs. They're trying to ban the people that bring tripods and lighting setups, which people do. Like there are food bloggers out there that will bring like full lighting umbrella gears and stuff, and and I don't even think you should have a flash when you go. Like when I do all my food photography for Ed Eats or any of the other stuff I do, I make it a point to try to not bother other people. Yeah. Like for example, I never bring a flash, I never bring a tripod, I never use you can see here the Mark III doesn't even have a flash. What I do is I buy fast lenses with fast apertures so that I can shoot in low light without having to bug other people. It usually doesn't take me more than 10 seconds or so to take a picture, and I don't think that would bother anyone, let alone people at my own table.
If I pay a lot of money for the food and I have a small camera in my pocket, not using flash, I shouldn't be banned from taking a picture of the food that I bought. Right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Some of from what I've heard, some of the restaurants to try to counter this when they say that there's no pictures in the dining room, they'll either invite you into the kitchen and you can take a picture of the food like on their serving platter or whatever at the pass, and you take a picture of your food there so that you're not disturbing the other diners. But then I've heard that some other restaurants, what they're doing is that they're banning you from taking pictures and they'll just send you a press kit. Basically, they email you a photo of the food and then you can use that image however you like.
But that's not
But I'm like, that's not the same then, because then you know that picture's been
doctored.
It's been enhanced.
Food style.
Yeah, it's been enhanced.
Let's do that 65.
Like that's not.
Yeah,
that's not fair to your readers.
Don't push buttons.
Although in many cases,
but that's the only way you win. When you're not winning, you just push buttons. You mash harder. That's how you win.
So I think it's a little excessive, but at the same time, go ahead, Lexi. So at the same time, we're trying really hard not to disturb people. But I understand when it's people with their enormous lighting setups, or if they're doing something completely out of the ordinary, like standing on tables and things like that.
Everyone deserves the same experience that you had. So by you standing on a table, setting up the lights, getting in people's way, screwing up the wait staff because they have to wait for you to take your picture. They need to serve people, right? Yeah. They have stuff to do. That completely ruins the experience for other people. So I understand that extreme, you shouldn't be doing that. And if you can't take pictures properly, then don't do it at all.
So that's our tip, food bloggers. If you're gonna do this, try not to bother other people.
Yeah. I think that's our PSA.
So the more you know. Alright, so the gadget of the week this week is the GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. This is the new version of the GoPro. It came out a couple months ago, right after I bought my GoPro Hero 2 that I've been using to film Dot Com Pho for the last couple months. And the new things on this version are that it allows for slightly higher resolution. It does 4K at 15 frames per second, and it fascinates little children because it's hilarious with Lexi Cam, and it does a variety of different resolutions. And you want to do this review, Lexi? You want to do this review? Okay. So you want to tell everybody what this does? All right. We're gonna do this again, Lexi. Okay. Right. So the gadget of the week today is the GoPro Hero 3 Black. This came out a couple months ago, just after I got my GoPro, actually. So I've sold mine and got a smoking deal on this one. It's got a couple upgrades from the old one. It does low light performance a little bit better. It has 4K resolution, albeit only at 15 frames per second. It's still somewhat useful at 4K, but you know, it's not designed for that right now. I'm usually filming at the 2.7K, and that does it up to 30 frames per second, I believe. We're usually filming at 24 frame here. It also does full 1080p and 720p at 120 frames per second, so we can do a lot of cool slow-mo stuff that we might try later. What?
We should kick Danny in the nuts again.
Oh yeah, we should totally kick Danny in the nuts.
We should attach this thing to his
Look at
belt.
I'll put up a link to an old Dot Com Pho, a classic Dot Com Pho, where Michael, what do we do?
We kicked Danny in the nuts.
Yeah, we kicked Danny in the nuts, and that was awesome. That was a great episode.
That was a great episode.
Put two cams, one on a belt buckle for him, and then one on the foot.
That'd be amazing.
And
Not gonna lie, that'd be so cool. Lexi, what do you think?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. It also has a Wi-Fi remote, which I have around here somewhere. A Wi-Fi remote right here, which here, Lexi, you can play with this, and it allows us to turn it on and off, and it has all the settings there somehow, and you can pretty much mount these anywhere. The new one is actually really flat, as you can see here. As you can see, it's actually really, really small, and you can fit it on a lot of things. It's also waterproof with the waterproof door, and it's a great action cam. I've been using it to film, B-roll for the various things I do, like Dot Com Pho and Canucks Hockey Blog, and just using it for everyday random stuff. So yeah, totally. And if you're looking for an action cam, particularly one that's very durable, gets great low light performance, and has lots of shooting modes, give the GoPro Hero 3 Black a try. And that's the gadget of the week.
So great tip for that.
Yeah. One of the things I use the GoPro Hero Black for is to film not only Dot Com Pho, but we also film something called Canucks Hockey Blog TV, CHBTV. Unfortunately, we don't have any Alexis Fungs on that show, but we do have Chris Golden, who's 99% less cute, but he knows a lot about Canucks. And yeah, if you're a hardcore Canucks fan like I am and Michael, then yeah, check out Canucks Hockey Blog TV. I'll put a link down here somewhere. I don't know how big the frame is, so I have no idea. It'll be down here somewhere, and you can check us out if you're if you're a big Canucks fan.
That's pretty creative.
And
What
it's
did you do?
And it's 100% better than Slap Shot Squad.
What we're hearing this week is that Apple might be releasing 2 or even 3 new iPhones at the same time this year, which is quite different than what they've been doing before. Because normally each year they have a new iPhone, and then it's an incremental upgrade from the previous generation, 3GS to 4 to 4S and so on. But what they're saying might happen this year is that they'll release an iPhone 5S and an iPhone 6, possibly called an iPhone Plus or an iPhone Math or whatever. What other name?
It's got to be iPhone Plus. iPhone Math sounds stupid.
iPhone Abacus, but the iPhone 5S will be an incremental upgrade to the current iPhone 5. It'll still have the same 4-inch panel and some upgraded guts, so it'll have maybe a faster processor or something like that. The same thing they've done from the 4 to the 4S. But the iPhone 6 or Math or Plus or whatever it's called will be the upgraded phone with, I'm hearing 4.5? 4.8? Are they going as big as 4.8? But either way, a bigger phone than the 4 that they have right now. So it'll be in the 4 to 5 inch kind of range, and that'll be the flagship product, which is quite different than what Apple had been doing before. And then there's the rumor of the cheap plastic iPhone that's supposed to be the budget version, and I really don't think they should do that, because what they've always been doing before is you sell the previous generation as the budget model.
Yeah, which I totally agree with, because the problem with doing that is that they can't. They're not going to capitalize on Asian markets and other markets that want cheaper phones.
Yeah.
Because they can't just ship old phones over there. But I agree with you that they shouldn't get into the budget phone market because that's not what Apple is. They're a premium product manufacturer.
Well, because in where the other companies are trying to make up some market share now are in the developing markets, in the emerging markets, India, China, whatever. Samsung's doing pretty well there, and Nokia is doing pretty well there. Because then those are a couple of companies that have faced some challenges because of the rise of iPhone and things, right? Like they're losing market share for that.
Yeah.
Especially Nokia. But they do just fine in India and Brazil selling the El Cheapos.
Yeah.
And that's So we're doing 3 weeks of contests over at megatechnews.com. We partnered up with our friends at Diamond Multimedia. By the time this video goes up, week 1 will be done. We will be giving away a wireless range extender, so it plugs into the wall so you can extend your wireless network. For week 2, we've got 2 pairs of Bluetooth speakers. They're similar to the Diamond Multimedia mini rocker speaker that we saw, I guess, last week? Was it last week?
Yeah.
They're similar. It's in the same series, but it's a slightly different design, but they work in fundamentally the same way. So we're giving away 2 of those, and what you need to do is just go over to megatechnews.com, and we'll have the full contest post up probably by the time that this video goes up. And it's all social media based, so you can enter via Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. There's a rafflecopter thing in there. Follow us. Rafflecopter.
Rafflecopter?
Rafflecopter.
Rafflecopter?
Not rafflecopter.
Not rafflecopter.
You could rafflecopter if you want to, but that won't get you an entry.
That'd be very productive, yeah.
You have to use rafflecopter.
Rafflecopter?
Rafflecopter.
Okay, rafflecopter.
And then you do the Facebook, the Twitter, and the Pinterest thing. Follow us, tweet it, and share the post, and that's how you enter. And then we'll have a 3rd contest next week as well. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, good luck. The initially need the retro thing, and I have any extra. Yes. Yeah. Village. Right, yeah. Go Value Village.